Yes, today's subject is physics. It is not only physics, physics for all. Because everyone is connected with physics. In everyday life, we come across so many events or so many properties and so many things which are closely related with physics only. One common example is that of motion. So, motion is studied under this particular physics concept only. We are associated with light, its properties, say for example shadow, which is a rectilinear propagation of light, or it is its property. So heat is also connected with this particular physics only. We are familiar with the communication, it will also come in physics. So every day we are associated with this particular physics only. So anybody can learn physics. It is a very simple concept. So under that particular convention, I want to give some lessons or some lectures connected with this particular physics. So in physics, we go through one word, especially what is known as fundamental. Especially in most of the physics, we will be using this word fundamental. What this particular fundamental is, its origin is not known. What is this fundamental? Whose origin is not known. If we take the example of God, say his origin is not known. In that particular fashion only, physics will be using many a times this particular word fundamental. What that particular fundamental is? Fundamental quantities. Fundamental quantities, or what you can call it as physical quantities. What this particular physical quantity is? A physical quantity is the one which can be measured. If you cannot measure, it is not called a physical quantity. If I say that I am very intelligent, and if you ask me, how much sir, I will not be able to answer. So any measurable quantity is called a physical quantity. So measurable means how we will be measuring them. So for measurement purpose, we will be dividing these particular physical quantities into two parts, one scalar and one vector. So in some of the measurement conventions, we give only magnitude, amount, parimana anta enada kannadadaga. And in the other convention, if we give only magnitude, it will be insufficient to describe that particular physical quantity. And in that convention, we have to give direction also. So you are all familiar with the signboards on these particular highways or something. If the name of a particular town or place is mentioned there, only the name is mentioned, name is not mentioned, along with that there will be an arrow mark. So if that arrow mark is not there, you will not come to know where is that particular place. Probably you may only tell about the distance. Say for example, now I am in Athani. If I say that from Athani, Vijapur is at a distance of 73 kilometers or something, and if I don't tell them in which direction you have to move, you will not be able to reach Vijapur. Means in this particular fashion, there are two quantities, or for the measurement purpose, these particular physical quantities are divided into two parts. That is, one certain are scalars and some are vectors. Means some physical quantity can be completely described by their magnitude only. What is that particular example? If you go through mass, if you will go to a shop and you will ask something, you may give me that much of 1 kg, that much of matter 2 kg or something, but he will never ask you in which direction I should give. He will never ask you. But if you say something that it is at a distance of so and so, the person will immediately ask in which direction I have to move. So the quantities which are associated with magnitude are so many quantities are there. You can go through mass, length, volume and so many things. And here if you go through these particular vectors, which will be requiring direction. And one of the important quantities is velocity. If you go through acceleration, if you go through force, or this is momentum and so many things, they are all connected with direction along with magnitude. They are vector quantities. So in this particular measurement, whatever we call this fundamental convention, we will be having this measurement concept, that is fundamental quantities are taken to be three. One is length, and one is mass, and one is time. So when they have started, we don't know. When they have started, we know. Certain quantities are derived from it. Say for example, if you take area, area is not independent on what area is length into length. What volume is length into length into length. Say means we will be expressing everything in terms of these particular fundamental convention only. In old physics, classical physics, we used to have only 3 fundamental quantities, but now we have extended it to so many other. And for the measurement purpose, we will be having certain units connected with those particular fundamental quantities. You can call them as fundamental units. So if you go through, according to the different systems, earlier, about 50-60 years back when we used to learn this physics and so many things, we used to have 3 systems, CGS, MKS and FPS system. So FPS, see, means entire world was under the influence of this British concept only. So we were all familiar with those particular units. Probably today nobody is knowing about the British system units only. Only 2-3 concepts you can know. One is mile, or one is you can go through this particular temperature, Fahrenheit, like that. But today we will not be knowing those particular British units. But however, we will be using, whenever we purchase gold, we say 1 toli gold. 1 toli bangar kodre anta heli. But 1 toli is, that is the system of this thing. It was divided into 16, 8, so many things. It was divided into 8 parts, and that 8 part, 1 part is divided into 16. Then we go to call them with different units. But if you go to rupee convention also, it was very wonderful. The 1 rupee was divided into 16 parts, and 1 part was called Anna. I see in that particular, but now we will be having in tens. Because it is the MKS system. Then afterwards all systems have been removed, and now we will be having standard international. The means we will be having a SI system, and accordingly we will be having 7 fundamental quantities have been taken, and in then this length, mass, time, then we will be having current, and then we will be having this luminosity concept, and then we will be having certain angles, radian, like that. So here will be one temperature connected Kelvin is also there. They are fundamental SI units. But here today we will be moving to one concept that we have already mentioned about scalars and vectors, and then we will be moving to motion. So today our chapter concept is motion. So here in this physics, when you go through this motion, what is this particular part of physics associated with these motion and so many things, force and so many things? It is known as mechanics. It is known as mechanics. This mechanics is divided into 2 parts again. One dynamics and one statics. One dynamics and one statics. Dynamics, you will be knowing, dynamic means motion connected, and if you go through static, it is stationary. But in that particular dynamics, again we will be having 2 parts. One is kinematics and one is kinetics. Kinematics, in kinematics, we will be knowing only about, we will be having description of motion only. How it is caused, we don't know. And that we will learn in kinetics. And when you go through this particular statics, when we learn about kinetics, we come to know that after applying a certain force, the body moves. It implies that if we apply a force, the body moves. But in statics, what we learn there, we will be applying so many forces, but the body is not moving. Why it is not moving, that we will learn in that particular statics. And today we will go through this particular kinematics part, and in that the first concept is motion. Motion. And this motion is fundamental, because when the motion has started, we don't know. When the motion has started, we don't know. So this particular motion, or the body in motion, when we say that a particular body is in motion, when a particular body is in motion, see what is the definition? If a body changes its position with respect to time. So time is a very important concept when you learn this motion. If a body changes its position with respect to time, the time will change. It may be very small. And during that particular small time also, the body should change its position. Then only what we can say, it is in motion. It is in motion. Connected with that particular motion, so many things are associated with. But interestingly, connected with motion, one more word is there. And what is that word? That is word is rest. Rest means no motion. Rest means no motion. But are they absolute or are they relative? Are they absolute or are they relative? Say here everything is in rest. Here, all object or something, this house itself is what we say, how it is? It is rest, it is not moving. But if on the broad sense, if we think they are all on earth, is earth stationary? No, it is rotating about your axis, about the axis. Means entire our house is also rotating, means entire this house and myself and everything is moving only. But again what I say, it is rest. Why? Because it is related to something else. It is related to something else. If we see a car, in that particular car, particular person is sitting along with a suitcase full of money or whatever you can say, and he is holding it tightly. And when that car moves, a person outside will say, hey, see how the suitcase is moving. And that person inside the car will be feared. So suitcase is moving. No, it is with me only. And he will say, hey, no, it is here. It is at rest. And that person, he says, no, it is moving. Are they true? Yes, both are true. Because the person who observes outside that particular car is moving, hence the suitcase is also moving. But one person is sitting in the car only, and so for him the suitcase is stationary because it is not moving away from him. Both are true. So if you ask suitcase, what will say? I don't know. I don't know. Somebody will say that I am moving and somebody will say that I am at rest. So I cannot move. So I cannot describe myself. So who will describe? The others will describe. Who is that others? He is known as observer. So always the motion of a particular body is described by an observer and not by a body. And what that particular observer is known as? Frame of reference. Frame of reference. There are different frames of reference, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimensional, and now we are associated with this earth only. Even though earth is moving, we don't consider it. Because along with the earth we are also moving. So there is no relative motion between ourselves and the earth. So what we consider? We consider everything is at rest. Everything is rest. So what we can say there? If you say motion or rest, they are relative and they are not absolute. The most important concept. So when it is relative, we will be always having a observer, or we will be having one initial point. With respect to that initial point, we will be discussing something about motion. So what that particular motion is? When a body changes its position with respect to time, we say that the body is in motion. So how many types of motion are there? Strictly, if you go to one concept, what we say, a body can move along a straight path, or a body can move along a curved path. But how it is? They are all one-dimensional motions. One-dimensional motion. There are certain motions. If you go through a particular ball is thrown into air, ball is thrown into air. If some person is standing away from you, you will never throw the ball horizontally. How you will throw? You will throw it up, but again it will go to that particular person who is standing down. So how that particular ball will move? It will move in this particular fashion. You can call that motion as projectile motion or two-dimensional motion. You are all familiar with circular motion. All earth and something, all planets will go round this particular sun in circular motion, or you are all familiar with this rotatory motion. A ball or something is rotating, so rotatory motion, or you are all familiar with the pendulum of the clock, that is oscillatory motion. So in this particular fashion, different types of motion are there, but today our subject is motion along a straight path. Motion along a straight path. So here we will be having different concept. Here we will be having different concept. When you consider motion, what happens to that particular body, or what that body will do? See, initially if the body is here, at the time if you say that the body is having motion, means it changes its path with respect to time. After 1 second it will be here, again here, again here, again here, and finally it will be here. So what this particular concept is known? It is known as distance covered. It is known as distance covered. When we strictly speak of straight line motion only, then there is no question of direction. But however, to understand, we go through both the concepts. See here from this point to this point, how you can go? You can go this way also, this way also, this way also, this way also. What these are all known as, they are all distance covered. You are all familiar with this particular mobile. If you go through a map of a particular place and if you want to reach that particular place from your initial point, say so many paths are given in that particular map. All are associated with the distance covered only. They are all associated. But there will always be one shorter distance. It may not be covered by that particular vehicle, but physically there will be always one shortest distance. And what that particular shortest distance is, it is always a straight line. It is always a straight line, and this particular shortest distance between the 2 points is not called the distance, but it is called displacement. So you may have many distances, but you will not be having many displacement. Displacement is only one. Or you can call, if you give it a proper direction, just generally displacement is taken to be a vector because it is in a specific direction. From here you will move in this area, but here it is direction is changing. See, direction is continuously changing. But if you move along one direction only, the distance will be now displacement, and when you say that direction, now the displacement becomes vector. So distance is a scalar and this is vector. So now, but however, all these conventions are associated with time. So now if you go through that particular rate convention, we know that there is distance traveled, or you can call it as displacement. But however, distance is scalar, displacement is vector, so we will be again classifying their rate concept. When we come across this particular distance, the rate of distance covered is named as speed, and this particular rate of change of displacement is known as velocity. So speed is different, velocity is different. If you move through a vehicle or on a bus, it is written there. What it is written? Speed limit. But because bus will not always move along a straight path only, it may move in any direction, so it will be having speed and not velocity. So velocity means in a definite direction. If there is change of this particular position with respect to time, then we call it as velocity. If there is only change of position with respect to time irrespective of that direction, then we call it as speed. So in this particular speed and velocity, are they constant or are they variable? So it may have constant. Constant means uniform, and variable means it will be changing with time. It will be changing. Practically, if we think, if you go through a practical concept, always initially it will be variable only, afterwards it may become uniform, and finally again it becomes variable. When we see practically, when you see if you consider a particular vehicle, how is its behavior? It starts with 0 speed, then it acquires certain speed, then it moves with that speed, then it decreases speed and comes to rest. So always variable speed and uniform speed are practically associated with all moving vehicles. But if we consider one part where what we call it as uniform. So what this particular uniform means? Equal distances are covered in equal intervals of time, however small the interval may be. Most important. Equal distances are covered in equal intervals of time, however small the interval may be. Because what you may do, in a specific interval you may go with one speed, in another convention you may go with another speed. Totally you can say uniform. No. However small the interval may be. So this particular ratio of distance travelled upon that particular time taken, you take any ratio. It may be very small or it may be big, the ratio is always constant, and if that particular ratio remains constant, then what we will say? It is having uniform speed. But if at different instances, if this distance travelled is changing with time, then we call it as variable. In a similar fashion, we can go through this particular displacement also. That is, if distance covered by the particle or the body with respect to time is uniform, or equal distances are covered in equal intervals of time, but one addition what will be giving in a definite direction, then what we call it as uniform velocity, or the body possesses uniform velocity. But in both the conventions, what happens? The body travels a certain distance. The body travels a certain distance. Unless it travels certain distance, it cannot acquire velocity. Or when you will be having uniform velocity, and if you consider particular time, the body cannot remain there only. It will remain there only provided its velocity or speed is 0. But if it is not 0, it must travel a certain distance. So now we will be having three conventions: one speed, one time, and one distance. And what that particular relation is, if s is distance and v is speed and t is time, then what that particular s is equal to v into t. S is equal to v into t. We can represent these particular conventions graphically also. Here v is written for speed as well as velocity. Speed as well as velocity. So if we consider this particular figure, here time is independent. So whenever you draw this particular motion graphically, time is always taken along x-axis because time is independent. And with respect to time, if we go through uniform velocity, what it implies? Initially you will be having same velocity, and after time t also you will be having same velocity. So if we consider that is our velocity or speed at that particular 0 time instant, and after 1 second, after 2 seconds, after 3 seconds, after 4 seconds, after 5 seconds, if you observe the velocity is constant. So what we call it as uniform velocity. Say for example, here we will be taking 1, 2, 3, 4 like this seconds, and this velocity say something. So some u or something, that some velocity is there, that is v. So after 1 second you will be having same velocity v, after 2 same velocity, after 3 c. So if you draw these points or join these points, what you will get? It is known as the graph of this body moving with uniform velocity. What you can call it as Vt graph or velocity time graph. So now if you go through this, a certain time is taken here, and what this particular velocity. So here we know that the distance travelled is v into t, and when we come across this particular graphical representation, if you consider that this is a rectangle, then what that particular v into t is? It is nothing but area under velocity time graph. So area under velocity time graph always represents distance travelled. The area under velocity time graph always represents distance travelled. The most important concept. And now we will be coming to variable velocity or variable speed. But here generally we don't consider variable speed convention, then we consider only variable velocity. What this particular variable, when we say that it is variable, it is either increasing with the time or it will decrease with the time. Always it will increase with time. And so this particular rate of variation of this particular speed velocity is termed as acceleration. You are all familiar with one concept, that is accelerator of a vehicle. So you will be knowing that if you press that particular accelerator, automatically the velocity increases. Or if you apply one more device is there, what is that? Brake. What that brake will do? It will decrease the velocity. That is known as deceleration or negative acceleration. So brake is negative acceleration, will provide negative acceleration, and accelerator will give positive. So means acceleration means increase in speed, deceleration means decrease in speed, but both are associated with change in speed or change in velocity. So the rate of change of velocity is known as acceleration. Can this acceleration be constant or variable? So in some cases it will be variable and in some cases it is constant. If we consider general concept, it is constant only in most of the cases, or what we can call it as uniform acceleration. Means if this particular velocity changes by equal amounts in equal intervals of time. If velocity changes by equal amounts in equal intervals of time, we will call it as uniform velocity. But if it is changing, time constant is changing, but it is changing by different amount, then we call it as variable acceleration. Variable acceleration. So if it is uniformly changing, how we will measure it? So if we say that u is initial velocity, u is initial velocity, or you can call that velocity v naught to be the initial velocity. And now what happens? It is accelerated. What it implies? Its velocity is increasing with time. It goes on increasing. It goes on increasing. How? Uniformly. So say after t time, if we consider, if this particular velocity be v and this particular velocity be v, it is the old symbol, it is new symbol. Only difference is. So then what is acceleration? That is change in time divided by time. This is change in velocity divided by time. That is what we call it as rate of change of velocity. Rate of change of velocity. And what it is called? It is called acceleration. So what that particular acceleration will be? V minus v naught upon t, or you can write it as v minus u upon t. Now what you can write as v minus, this is old concept, this is new. So v minus v naught upon t, what we will call it as acceleration. If acceleration is constant, velocity is increasing by same amount with respect to time. So now if we acceleration is denoted by a, and this can be written in this particular fashion, v minus v naught upon t, or transformation gives you v is equal to v naught plus at, or here v is equal to u plus at. So such equations which describe the motion of the bodies are known as equations of motion. Such concepts are known as equations of motion. But what we know here, if a body is accelerated, it will gain velocity. The body is not stationary. During that increase of velocity, during that particular process, it is moving. So when it moves, what implies? It acquires or it covers a certain distance. Is there any relation between this particular distance traveled, velocity, and so many things? Yes, certainly there is a distance or there is a relation. And what that important relation is? S is equal to ut plus half at square, old symbol, or what you can say, v naught t plus half at square, that is the one. Say in the old convention we will be taking it as s, and your new convention we can take it as x. All are same thing, all are same. See, only the symbols have been changed in this particular CBSE syllabus. So here we go through the derivation of this particular concept, that is distance travelled is equal to. So what is the general definition of distance travelled? General definition is average velocity into time. Average velocity into time. So if you move to a particular place from one point to the other, and if you look at the speedometer of a particular vehicle, say for example if you take the bus, if you look at the speedometer of that particular bus, it will be showing 70 kilometers or 80 kilometers like that. Sometimes, but then you will be imagining when the bus is moving with such a speed of 80 kilometers, to cover about 80 kilometers, probably the bus may be taking 1 hour. But when you reach that particular place, it will be nearly 1.5 hours. Because what happens? Continuously speed is changing. Sometimes the bus will halt, sometimes it will be at rest, and in that particular fashion it is calculated, and then that average speed is mentioned. Average speed. So what that particular average speed is? Total distance travelled upon total time taken. total distance traveled upon total time. So if you consider that particular distance of about 90 kilometers, and if the bus will take 1.5 hours, then automatically we will say the bus is moving with a speed of 60 kilometers. Probably it may be moving with 90 kilometers or 100 kilometers, then it will take some stops and so many things. But average, what we say, this is the average speed. So on a convention, see, distance traveled is equal to what we will be taking? Average speed or average velocity into time. Average velocity into time. But when acceleration is uniform or constant acceleration is there, how the velocities will change? They change with equal amounts in equal intervals of time. And whenever this particular equal concept is there, the values of velocity will be in arithmetic progression. They will be in arithmetic progression. That is 1 plus 2, 3 like that. So whenever you write down the numbers in arithmetic progression, what will be the average of those particular numbers? It is always equal to the middle value. What is it will be? Always equal to. So if you go through that arithmetic progression, how it will be? A plus D, A plus 2D and so on. So if you mention in that particular fashion, see, initially our velocity is 1, then it becomes 2, then it becomes 3, then 4, then 5. So what this particular middle value is? It is the average value of this convention. But what this middle value is? Actually, it is equal to 1 plus 5 upon 2. So initial value plus final value divided by 2 will always give you average value. Will always give you average value. So accordingly, what we can say? We can say S is equal to V average into time taken to cover that particular distance. So what this particular V average is? So in this particular symbol, if you write, what we will write? U plus V upon 2 into T, provided a constant, acceleration is constant. If A is constant, A is variable, it cannot be applied. So now if we simplify this particular part by substituting the value of V here, that is what that particular V is, that is U plus AT divided by 2 into T, and finally if you simplify, what you will get? UT plus half AT square. And if you replace this U by V0, you will be getting that particular equation. So S is equal to UT plus half AT square is one of the important equation of as the second equation of motion. Second equation of motion. Can we have this particular concept? Because already we know that this S is nothing but the area under velocity time graph. So how you can have the velocity time graph of a body moving with uniform acceleration? How it will be? See, for example, if the body starts with initial concept only, it is not having any velocity, it will be here. So this is velocity and this is time. What is happening? Velocity is changing, it is not constant. It is not constant. So initially, see, we can go through this particular tabulation also. Initially when t is equal to 0, means initially velocity was 0. When after 1 second, velocity is 1. After 2 seconds, velocity is 2. After 3 seconds, velocity is 3. What is happening here? Velocity is changing. So accordingly, if you draw this particular graph by taking this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So 1 here on will get, and here on. So what it is? It is the velocity time graph of a particular particle moving with initial velocity 0 and constant acceleration 1. 1 meter per second square or so many things. We will be discussing about the units afterwards. So means here what it is a straight line. So if you consider area under this particular concept, what you will get? You will get the distance traveled. You will get the distance traveled. So is it according to, see, graphically can we prove this particular result? See, let us see. That's a very simple concept. See, here we will be drawing the graph of a body having initial velocity u and final velocity v, and taking a time t to reach that particular velocity v, and by that particular constant what happens, it travels a certain distance. So initially it will be having velocity u, initially means when t is equal to 0. Then after some time t, what happens, it acquires a certain velocity, say what it is, it is v. It is v. So this is our motion style. Here u is the initial velocity. We have accelerated the body with acceleration a, and then after time t it has acquired a velocity v, and by that time what happens, it covers a distance s. It covers a distance s. So how much it is with respect to graph, let us find out what is the value of this particular s. For this we will be drawing this line. What it is the velocity time graph of a body having initial velocity u and moving with acceleration a. So if we are able to find out the area of this particular figure, then that will give you the value of s. So for that we will be taking a convenience. If it is t, then it will be t. If it is t, then it will be t. You can directly go through the value of that particular area of the trapezium also. So if we go through that particular trapezium convention, or you can, if you want to have something else, see here, here what is this particular value, it is u, and here it is what it is, v. So what this much will be, v minus u. How much this part will be, v minus u, and now this is t. This is t. So this is known as angle. This is known as angle. What this particular v minus u is, it is nothing but change in velocity, and if you divide by this particular t, what will get, acceleration. But if we divide perpendicular by adjacent side, what we will get, we will get tan theta. So what this particular tan theta is, v minus u upon t, and in coordinate geometry we call this particular concept as slope. So slope of Vt graph gives you acceleration. Slope of Vt graph will give you acceleration. So accordingly now we can go through this particular substitution and so many things. So what this area is, say it is nothing but a trapezium. It is nothing but a trapezium. So go through that particular trapezium convention. What is the area of trapezium? 1 by 2. This side plus this side. So what it is u plus v. And then what it will be, a perpendicular distance, that is t. That is t. So half u plus v into t, which we had already done. Now you can write down value for v, that is 1 by 2 u plus u plus u plus at into t, and if you simplify, what you will get, say ut plus half at square. Here we have substituted for v. Instead of that, you can go through this particular acceleration concept. What acceleration, a is equal to v minus u upon t. See, if you want to derive this one, say here a is equal to v minus u upon t, or v is equal to what, u plus at. First representation, and then we will be substituting that value here. That value here. So if you go to this particular area under this graph, what it will give you? It will give you distance traveled, how much it is ut plus half at square, and according to our derivation also, we have got s is equal to ut plus half at square. So what it is? Proving s equal to ut plus half at square graphically. Graphically. Tomorrow we can move to third equation of motion, that is nothing but v square is equal to u square plus at. These three equations lead the motion connected problems, but what is there? You should have constant acceleration or the constant acceleration connected motions.